Hey, what's up, everybody? Ballard here, or not Ballard. Hold on. What was that? Christian Ballard. You know, figure I'd go live for a bit. Nothing better to do at the moment. Don't forget the Unprofessional Sports Show. I think I'm gonna try to do that on Thursday night, so be sure to check that out tonight. Got a lot coming up. Some streams planned. I went ahead and I scheduled for the 2 year anniversary, of the channel. And um I'm looking forward to it. It's been almost 2 years on here. I love each and every one of you. We're gonna do that on Thursday, December 9th. Celebrate 2 years. I'll be 20. I'm planning on going live. I don't have to work. I gotta work tomorrow. I don't have to work Saturday, and I plan on going live for the Ole Miss Auburn game, which I think will be a good game. You know, so, but again, we'll see. I don't know what to expect. Um, Tonight, when I do the Unprofessional Sports Show, we'll talk about what's the best ranked matchup this weekend. Do some pick'ems, and that's pretty much it. I have some other banners up, but what I hate is that okay, you can set up a stream, right, and have whatever background or whatever. I think it applies it to every single one. Well, no. Um, Hold on. Because look, hold on one second. Okay, I have that on this one. But like for the Unprofessional Sports Show tonight, I have, well, here, let me share screen for you. I have this, right? So you can change if I schedule like 2 different streams, I can choose different backgrounds and everything. But I can't. I have all the banners saved on every single one, which kind of is one of those like I gotta be careful, but it is what it is. So we'll do some pick'ems tonight. We'll save that. Some interesting games though I want to see. I mean, there's Penn State at Ohio State, Ole Miss and Auburn. There's Georgia and Florida. I just named 3 of those games. I don't know what's going to be the better of those 3. Actually, I really do. And I think it's going to be Ole Miss and Auburn, which is what I want to go live for on Saturday night. Georgia, are they going to blow Florida out of the water? No. They'll play good, and they might win by a couple scores or possessions. But it's not going to be like a 50-0 blowout. First off, Georgia can't score 50 points. I mean, okay, you play a team like Austin P, whatever, score 50. Anybody could. Their offense isn't at that level with Stetson Bennett yet. But, and they'll probably give up maybe 2 touchdowns. I don't know. To Florida. I don't know what to expect. Georgia, y'all are great. I've been saying it. I criticize y'all a little bit. It's just like you Georgia fans sit there and say, Kirby Smart has built an elite program. Now they're working their way up. I really don't want to call the program elite. I mean, and one title isn't going to define it, but like he hasn't finished the job yet. His ceiling is winning the SEC. He hasn't done it since 2017. Now, I know that he's gotten back there. He's made it there on a consistent basis, and it's like, oh, well, Alabama's been in the way. Well, Alabama was in the way. LSU was in the way. Florida took you guys out last year, won the East. I don't hate Georgia. Much love and respect for them and Georgia fans. I guess to clear something up, like and I made a video about this, but the Georgia fans are not satisfied. Like Florida, let me ask you this. If Florida, having won the East last year, got pissed off because they lost the SEC, great, now we can't go to the playoff, we can't win a national title. Would you sit there? You'd have one or two things to say. Which one would you rather say to them? You're complaining about that, or yeah, it sucks to be you, or something like, yep, you should have won that, or be happy you won the East. What about Georgia? I mean, seriously. I'm just saying. I mean, look, I don't. I'm not trying to throw Georgia under the bus too much. They're great, and this is their best team that Kirby's had in a while, with Stetson Bennett and company. It was JT, and I really don't know the situation. I like JT Daniels just a little bit more, but Stetson Bennett seems to be the better leader. Who should start this weekend? I don't know. I mean, look, it's not a clear-cut choice. Stetson Bennett is amazing. The thing about Georgia, too, is lack of depth on the roster. You have all these great starters, right? And you recruit well. But even I'd say the same about Alabama. If they lost a key starter, it'll affect them the rest of the way. Right? Now, you guys lost George Pickens in the offseason, right? Okay. You've had receiver depth. But let's say you lost a guy like Jordan Davis, the best tackler on your defensive line. Whoops. You still win the games, but it's not as good. Georgia's got all those weapons and talent. They recruit pretty decently. Hell, really good. Top 5 every year. The point I'm trying to get at is, because I really don't like babbling on about Georgia. This whole we're going to blow Florida out of the water thing is absurd. Florida's got talent. They're good. Emory Jones is a great quarterback. Undersized, if anything, and more mobile than he is throwing. Anthony Richard. I mean, look. What even is the spread on this? 14 Georgia. Okay. And you got your best available player in Stetson Bennett carrying the team tonight. I don't know. That Michigan State game might be the best game of the weekend. My opinion. There's that. Auburn, Ole Miss. I mean, there's a few good ones on. I don't know. I mean, let me just say this, right? I'm picking Georgia to win this game against Florida. I am. And we'll dive into more of that on the show tonight. Which, don't forget, going live at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Florida and Georgia is a great rivalry, right? Florida won last year. They have been pretty close. It's not that, Georgia had beat them like 4 straight years, whatever it was. I mean, Georgia, could lose this game. They could, right? But because they're a contender this year, they weren't last year, but because they have a chance this year, because they're back to it, they got their quarterback in Stetson Bennett. You have Like all the pieces are there for Georgia. And this is it. You have a chance to win the title this year, right? You Georgia, first off, you need to focus on winning the SEC championship. That's it. For right now, just focus on getting to Atlanta and beating Ole Miss, Auburn, or Alabama, one of those three, whoever it's going to be. Right? Um, Florida is down this year. They suck. They do. I'll admit it. All right. Georgia should have no problem beating them, but it is a rivalry game, and it's tough. Georgia is back to being in the playoff conversation this year, which, I mean, preseason they have been. But let's be honest, this is your true, like, you can say, okay, Kirby's got us back, right? You can say that. What's up, Jeff? I see you in there, buddy. I mean, Georgia is set up right now for a national title. I've been picking them since the offseason. But Georgia fans, if they, like, imagine if Georgia does. Now, this year, I wouldn't blame you. Because after this year, I don't know if you'll get Stetson back. I guess you better hope. If it's JT or whatever. The point is, Georgia's best chances this year. And again, I mentioned I see Jeff in there. I'll drop the link. I don't care if anyone comes on today. I don't. If you want to, you can. But like Jeff has said, he says, Bama's got 22, 23, 24, and so on with all these recruiting classes. If we get these players, they're going to get back on top in the SEC and probably stay there. So Georgia's got to do it this year. Not that they won't be able to do it years down the road. Plus, who knows who else in the SEC? I mean, I think a lot of teams are getting better with recruiting in ways. But it's like Georgia has the best team now. They have the quarterback and the tools now. They won't have anything next year. Defense, yeah. But we're still we're switching to this offensive era where you have to throw the ball. You have to have playmakers and everything. And there's quite a few that are going to go pro for Georgia. Right? We got Brock Vandergrift coming in. He's a 5-star talent out of high school. DJ Uiagalelei is a 5-star. What are you talking? Look at Clemson. Look at Clemson. They have 5 stars on their team. They suck this year. They're terrible. Are they going to get back to it? I think Clemson will be better next year and maybe get back to it. I don't know. We got 5 stars and we recruit and Kirby this, Kirby that. Credit to Georgia. But the stars and everything are coming together this year. This year. And I wanted to see JT Daniels, if Georgia had won it, I'm like, I like a guy like JT Daniels, he looks like he's going to be the guy that can help them. Now it's talking about Stetson Bennett. Who's a better quarterback? I think JT's a better quarterback, but I think it seems like Stetson Bennett's the better option, just for Georgia's sake. I don't know. I really don't. Somebody please get in here and help me, because I mean I'm trying to give props to Georgia. They're gonna just call it what it is. They're gonna blow out Florida. Okay, there. I said that. And I think that they can win the national title this year. I've been saying that. Ballard, you're delusional. You think we don't have a team like that and you think Kirby can't do it? I've been saying that, man. It's y'all's time. I see what you sent me too, Jeff. Thanks, buddy. It's a cute dog. I see. That's Gene Stallings. And then I guess is that Campbell from Iowa State? Thanks. Heartbreak this morning, too. But to sum this up, it's Georgia's time. It's their year. Kirby, has built this program up, and he says, "I want to." He wants to win them a national title. He does. So Colby, LW, Colby, Atypical, and Jeff. Kirby wants to, win a title. He needs the mindset, and he has that. He needs the tools. He has that. But what I'm trying to get at is this. Georgia, this is your chance in 2021. Because Alabama's fallen off this year just a little bit. We'll get back to it. Don't worry. This is not Alabama's year. They have some issues of their own. And Georgia has a couple issues. But they manage it well. And they have a clear-cut path. I think they're better than Alabama this year. That's fair. I also think they're better than Auburn. We saw that. They're better than Ole Miss. I named you those three teams for a reason. Because those three teams are still alive to potentially win the West. So, Colby says, Bama fans, all of y'all, do y'all listen to the YouTube channel Alabama Football? Yes, Alabama Insider. And I've noticed that Jay Barker has been on there too lately. Civic Tech. What's he talking about today? Because I haven't been listening to it. Let the games play out. I'm going to do that. The biggest one, and I'm going live for it on Saturday. I'm going to go live for the Ole Miss Auburn game. That's a big one because if Auburn wins that, they take a step forward and they say, we still only have the one SEC loss to Georgia. But if they lose it, Auburn's done. And here's, okay, let me ask you guys this. If Auburn hypothetically wins the West and they go and they beat Georgia, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's all Georgia in the SEC. Forget who comes out of the West. Georgia's got this year. It's y'all's year. I've been saying that. But let's say hypothetically Auburn, who has currently 2 losses, but let's say they went out. They're 2 losses. They're not bad. You got Penn State and Georgia. They win the SEC. Do you put a 2-loss Auburn SEC champion? I'm not so much for putting 2-loss teams in, but also, why would you leave the SEC champion out? And again, this is hypothetical. I don't think that's going to happen. Colby says, no, you don't put them in. Okay, and I respect that. But surely they'd put a 1-loss Georgia team who lost the SEC in. But is that not weird to put the championship loser in the playoffs and leave the champion out? I mean, it just seems strange. I get putting teams in that didn't even make their conference and their 1 loss. Like, I understand that. We've seen it before. Ohio State, Alabama have done it. And I understand leaving the champions out sometimes. But the championship loser, really? Because I think if Auburn had beat Georgia again in 2017, if they had won in Atlanta, I think they're in the playoffs. They're literally in that position right now. They got to win the Iron Bowl, which I hope doesn't happen. I'm not going to speak on the Iron Bowl until Iron Bowl week. Is that fair? Till November. But again, this is Georgia's year, and that's it. Yeah, I got him, Jeff. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Dog, Gene Stallings, and then I guess it's Matt Campbell. Is that last one is Matt Campbell of Iowa State, right? I'm in hell.
How about that? Check to local initiative.
Oh, that's your dog. Okay. Awesome, man. If UGA loses the SEC title, they have one loss, they'll be in. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, Georgia has had that kind of season, right? Now, I think it'd be kind of a letdown if they don't win the SEC with all the hype and everything. I mean, they'll still make it in, and they could still very much make the playoffs and win the title. But I mean, it'd kind of be a letdown, wouldn't it, if they lose a game somewhere? Like it seems like they're set up to not only win the title but be undefeated. What's up? What's up, Colby? You're muted. There we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. How you doing today, Ballard?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
Pretty good, man. It's been raining all day. I don't know if it's raining there.
It looks crappy. It's not so much raining, but it is. I mean, it's chilly. I'll say that. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
Yeah,
Got
it's been
Neo.
raining all day.
I think Colby was looking for my photos, but I just sent them to you. You can share them if you want, Ballard. I don't care.
Sure, what? Oh, no, I wasn't, but I can. No, I was talking about the Alabama football stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about it?
Because I know a lot of Alabama fans are in Georgia streams, and they're all nice. So I wanted to be a nice guy and try to hop on to Alabama football. And they're good people over there.
Put those up, Ballard, if you can share them. Let everybody see, because people are always asking me all the time what's that?
What kind of dog do you have?
You're about to see if Ballard shares it.
Yeah, hold on. I got to be careful because I know it's through Facebook and I don't want to share anybody else. But so I think I got it.
I took
just
this
the photos.
This is about 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness!
No shoot.
Is that a beagle?
Yep, that's Cola.
Cola.
That's about 2 years. That's about 2 years ago. His coat's faded a little bit now.
Stallings here.
Yeah, wearing his '92 national championship ring.
That's Campbell, I'm assuming, Matt Campbell, or is that
Well, that's just hell. I got 5,000 of those. That's just Coach Campbell.
Yeah. Oh, that's one I sent to you, I think.
And they probably are, because I don't think I've sent you any photos. But people have always said, no, you got a picture of your dog, and I'm like, well, I'll send the best picture because usually he's sleeping or laying somewhere. That's one where he actually looks good. I was on the ground, and he was coming at me, and so I thought, well, let's share that one.
Y'all can end teen pregnancy and get the non-scoring bedroom set. Oh my God!
Wait, I want to see the dog one more time.
Oh, hold on. Damn it! Hold on.
Or Cola, I should say. Is it a girl, Jeff?
No, he's male.
Male, okay.
Fixed, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. I'm not Bob Barker militant about it, but
I was literally about to say Bob Barker.
Yeah. Well, it's just not fair to the animals to have them all, have so many, because so many end up getting put down, so it's not like cattle and hogs that we're breeding to eat, Dogs and cats, those are pets, and you don't want to, I hate having to see them put down, but so many of them have to be when they're not.
Yeah. I like that white tip on the tail. That's cute.
Yeah,
that's a dog I want to get.
people ask all the time, and almost all beagles. And he's a 15-inch. There's two breeds of beagles recognized by the AKC, a 13 and a 15, and that's the height at the shoulder. Any beagle that's not been overly bred with something else will have the white tip on their tail, and that's because they're a pack hunter.
Yeah.
And they'll run just like he's running right there with his tail and ear wagging like crazy.
Oh,
And they were bred to have the white tip on their tail so that the hunter can follow those white tail tips when they're in the brush. That's what it was bred for that.
That's awesome. LW brings up a pretty good comment here. He says, tell you a scenario the playoff committee doesn't want. A 12-1 Oregon, 12-1 Ohio State, 12-1 Bama, 12-1 Georgia, 13-0 Cincinnati, 13-0 Oklahoma. Oh, God, that's a good one.
Well, a 12-1 Bama would mean Georgia would have a loss.
Yeah.
It means Bama wins the SEC too. Right. Which I don't know what it is that people are.
Here's a scenario that I hadn't thought of before, and I think it's extraordinarily unlikely. So don't get upset, Georgia fans. I do not see this coming. But imagine if it does. Imagine if Georgia takes a loss.
Okay.
And thus has a regular season loss. Okay. And let's say Ole Miss beats Auburn. Okay. That's it. That's two losses for okay.
Auburn.
What happens if you have a 2-loss Alabama and at the same time a 2-loss Georgia? One of them is the SEC champion. One of them just got beat in the SEC championship game. What do you do then? You know, obviously you take the champion, but oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see that.
You also got to think.
There's all sorts of things. There's so much that could go wrong. I mean, you could have.
And the resumes are still good on both sides, regardless of record, I'd say.
Look, Iowa State is in position right now to totally affect the Big 12.
Yeah.
You said
they've still got Texas and Oklahoma in front of them. Oklahoma's still got to deal with Oklahoma State and I think Baylor.
And then maybe
all we need.
Baylor. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. So you know, you could have a situation where Oklahoma doesn't even get into the Big 12 title game.
Well, you're saying Baylor? Do they play them in the regular season, or would that be in the championship game?
I guess it's
regular season.
Well, what about the championship game for the?
Is Baylor not behind Oklahoma right now?
No. The scenario I'm creating, which is very unlikely, is that somebody, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Iowa State, two of those three beat Oklahoma. So Oklahoma doesn't even get into the Big 12 title game. It's Baylor because Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Baylor all have the tiebreakers against each other. One beat the other beat the other, and the other one beat the other one. Oklahoma State beat Baylor. Baylor beat Iowa State. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State. So those three, if two of those three can beat Oklahoma, they'll go to the championship game, and Oklahoma will not.
Are you talking about between OS, Baylor, and Iowa State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, unless I've got something completely wrong. If two of those three beat Oklahoma, that's two conference losses for Oklahoma. They're out. And the two one-loss teams remaining would play for the big, whether it's Oklahoma State, Baylor, or Iowa State. Two of those three. Right.
Yeah. Tell you what, circle this on your calendar, November 13th, Minnesota and Iowa, because they're both 3-1 right now. And if Minnesota gets an upset over Iowa loses their chance right there. Would it Minnesota take a step in the Big Ten West?
Well, Iowa's already lost their chance, I feel like.
No, they're still 6-1.
If Iowa wins out, they win the West. Here's who they've
Right.
got left. Here's who's Iowa's got left. I got it right here in front of me.
Okay.
Yep, me too.
Saturday at Wisconsin,
Yep.
at Northwestern, back-to-back home games with Minnesota and Illinois. They finish the season at Nebraska. That's who Iowa has left. If they run the table, they win the West.
Well, like I've been telling you,
Well,
I think they
didn't
can
Iowa
do-
lose?
Yes, they
Iowa
lost.
they lost to Purdue.
Yeah, I
It was
don't.
in-
I don't see them getting in the playoffs then, even if they win their championship.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they would be the Big Ten West champion if they win out. So I mean, Iowa wanted to be undefeated, but it's all still in front of them. What the Hawkeyes want to do, you gotta understand where their fan base is coming from. Their fan base isn't concerned about the playoffs. They want to win the Big Ten. That's what Hawkeye fans are interested in.
You know what I really want to see? I want to see two matchups. And I said this on a stream earlier. I know you two weren't both in there, but I really want to see. I know I'm giving scenarios here like you, Jeff, but if Ohio State doesn't make the playoffs, right? I know it's a
Right.
big if. I know it's a big if, but if they don't, I want to see them play a New Year's Six bowl game with Cincinnati. But that's a big if too.
Yeah.
In-state New Year's Six, right?
But and then the other game that I was thinking about is what you were just talking about, Jeff. Iowa. I want to see them play Kentucky. I think that would be a very good game too.
I'll say what I said to Lou maybe a week ago. However this plays out, and there's 8,000 scenarios, and we ought to just. It's fun to talk about it, but really we just need to sit back and let it happen.
Exactly.
But whatever scenario arises, it's not a clear cut 1, 2, 3, and who's going to be 4. There's all sorts of teams in the 5 to 12 range this year that are hovering around with 1 loss, maybe 2. And what that means to me is that we're going to be set up for some really good New Year's Six bowls. I mean, we're going to have some really exciting non-playoff bowl games to look forward to this year, and that excites me as a college football fan.
It does, yes, it does.
I'll tell you what I really want to see, because I'm just going to be honest. There's a part of me that, okay, I'm a traditionalist with college football in ways. I like seeing a lot more defenses this year. Now, we still see some good offenses, but I've seen a lot of great defense. I want, if Georgia really has the best defense, if not one of the best, and I haven't been sold on their offense, but their defense is killer, and that's what's been helping them out is their defense. Put those two defenses on the field, and let's see how we can get this game. Because I'll tell you what, man, Georgia and Iowa would be a hell of a game right now.
I gotta answer Joseph Sandberg in the comments section. He says
this one,
a Big Ten college champion, even if it is a 1-loss team, could still make the playoffs. I think you could change that, Joseph, to say will make the playoff. There's no way the committee is leaving a 12-1 Big Ten champion out of the playoff. I don't care who it is. It's not going to happen. A 12-1 Big Ten champion.
And if they do, then the system is BS. That's a big if, by the way. If they leave out. Yeah, I said if they do leave out a 1-loss Big Ten champ, then I think the system is just BS. I mean, it's like, what are you? We're talking about maybe the second best.
Okay. Let's think about the scenario.
Okay.
And not the team. Let's think about the position and not the team.
Yeah.
What stops a 1-loss Big Ten champion from the playoff? Here's what I think if that's the route you're going, you have to look at. You have to look at a 1-loss Alabama beats Georgia. If that happens, I'm absolutely convinced Georgia and Alabama both go. Okay, that takes 2 spots.
Yep.
Okay.
If Wake runs the table,
no.
Wait.
Okay. Okay.
If Wake runs the table, that's and you can say it's weak, it's the ACC. What the committee will say is it's an undefeated Power 5 champion. That's what the committee will say. So they're going to take Wake. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Then you would have to have an undefeated Big 12 champion, because I think this is my opinion. I think a one-loss Big 10 champion gets in over one-loss Big 12, one-loss Pac-12 undefeated Cincinnati. That's what I think.
Now,
If 1, 2, and 3 are Bama, Georgia, Wake.
No, I do not see Wake Forest.
I think I'm going to stick by this. I'm going to stick by this, and you're all going to remember that I did.
I'm here.
The committee is looking for any excuse they can put their hat on to not invite Cindy Nasty.
Yeah.
They are dying to get out of inviting Cincinnati.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. You know, this Tuesday is the first playoff ranking show.
Right, and that's when it matters. Because somebody said to me last night.
That's where it's going to change a lot.
Somebody said to me last night, how come Alabama? Somebody said to me last night, how come Alabama didn't drop to 8 or 9 after they lost to Texas A&M? And I said, I said, I don't care if they had. You know why? Because the AP poll means shit. It's what the ranking is on Tuesday that matters, because all these things will handle themselves. If Alabama wins out, they're in. That's all you need to know about Alabama. If they win out, they're in. If Georgia doesn't lose twice, they're in. That's all you need to know.
Right. And, you know, there's not, for the committee, there's not, okay, so they have a set of rules. They cannot.
Look, you could have 6 people on the committee, all of whom got robbed at gunpoint in Athens, and so they hate Georgia, and they rank Georgia number 10. Undefeated, and they rank them number 10. You know what happens if Georgia runs the table and stays undefeated or loses a close SEC title game? They get in. It doesn't matter where you are right now.
So, Jeff Wester, you're saying you mentioned Wake Forest getting in at number 3, right?
Right.
So what's
by the way, let me interrupt you real quick. 24/7 broke it down about a week ago. Wake Forest has a much tougher strength of schedule than Cincinnati.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
I mean, I could get that too, but I mean, you can't sit there and say it's not even close. I mean, and see, that's the thing about Cincinnati. I don't doubt that they're a good team, but who have they played to show?
Not good.
No, but Cincinnati's a good team, but you also have to look at. I mean, Jeff Wester, like I said earlier, like you were looking at number 3, but you also got to look at Oklahoma, still undefeated. Ohio State, they're looking good right now.
Oh yeah,
Michigan and Michigan State playing this weekend.
Yep.
I know they got to play each other again, and then you look at Oregon. I don't think Wake Forest makes it. I mean, like you said earlier, we just got to wait and see. But I don't think Wake Forest is going to make it. I think Cincinnati will make it before Wake Forest does.
The argument, LW is making an argument in the comments section, and this has been a real popular argument online and in our own community. Who would the committee value more, a 12-1 Big Ten champion Ohio State or a 12-1 Pac-12 champion Oregon who beat Ohio State? And shouldn't head-to-head matter? I would say under normal circumstances, I would completely agree. Head-to-head should matter. But what the committee will say is that Ohio State lost to a top 10 Oregon, and Oregon lost to a nobody Stanford. Their loss is worse.
Yeah.
Their loss is worse, but Ohio State has played better opponents. So it's kind of difficult. I know Ohio State beat Oregon. Oregon beat Ohio State.
Because if Ohio State is 12-1 and they win the Big Ten, not only will they have beaten the Big Ten West champion, but they will have beaten Penn State, Michigan, and Michigan State along the way. And Oregon won't have anywhere near those kind of wins.
Have they already played Southern Cal?
Not yet, they haven't.
Okay.
They played UCLA and beat them, but they have not played Southern Cal.
Okay. That might be their best win going into the playoffs.
Well, the committee will be hoping Southern Cal wins. The committee hopes Oregon loses another game and takes itself out.
That conference
Right now, you gotta know if you're on the committee, you're hoping whoever it is, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Wake Forest, whether it's Michigan State, whoever it is, you're sitting there hoping that teams do your dirty work for you and eliminate themselves. Then you don't have to make the tough decision anymore. They boop themselves out of the way.
I love this.
All right, so let me give you this scenario, Ballard, and I'll ask you too, Jeff.
Okay.
So, Georgia goes to SEC championship with Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Bama wins. Both get in, right?
Yeah, I think that's a given.
Let's just say 1-3. Either way, Bama.
They both get in. That's what matters.
Right.
Yeah. And then Cincinnati runs the table.
Okay.
Wake Forest runs the table, but Oklahoma's still undefeated. Who gets in? Cincinnati or Wake Forest?
Cincinnati, I think, just because I just think they're a better team with how they've played. That's
not
my
what
opinion.
See, I think
that's not what the committee is going to do. The committee is going to look at 12-0 Cincinnati, 12-0 Wake Forest, and they're going to say, you've got to win against like a 20 ranked or something like that SMU and Notre Dame. Meanwhile, Wake Forest has run through the ACC while Cincinnati, while you were beating Johnny's sister, the church lady, the girls' Braille school down the street.
Yeah,
they're going to look at strength of schedule,
and then Ohio State's on the side saying, "Hey, we're still here."
Right, because I'm telling you, the committee, for political reasons, doesn't want Cincinnati. Cincinnati's the ugly stepsister.
You said political reasons.
If there's any reason they can avoid them, they're going to.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, what's the reason? Like you said, political reasons.
Right.
Yeah, what's the reason behind that?
Because not having Cincinnati in increases the push amongst the public to expand the playoffs, which is more money for everybody involved. That's part of it. The other part is the committee doesn't want to deal with a Power 5 conference that gets shut out because a non-Power 5 team gets in.
Yeah.
So that's LW is right. I mean, since Wake Forest and Oklahoma loses, that's great news for the committee. They want these teams to self-destruct because then they don't have to do their own dirty work.
Well,
this is the reason I don't agree with expansion. All this dirty work. They get in the easy way. Georgia could lose to Florida this week, right? Lose the playoffs. I think we would still get in with expansion. I'm not saying it would be 6, not 12. I don't know. I still think.
Well, if it was 8, if I'm a fan out there in the country who is not rooting for Alabama and I am not rooting for Georgia, I don't really hate either one of these teams. I just don't want them. Okay?
No, and I love Bama too.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, if I'm one of those fans, I'm excited about the prospect of my team getting in by finishing second in our conference and we get in an 8-team playoff or whatever. That would be the absolute worst case scenario for the rest of the country. Because if you put a 2-loss Alabama or a 2-loss or a 1-loss Georgia in the playoff, they're going to smash the other 1-loss teams, and it's going to be the same 2 standing at the end.
And you know what's going to happen for college football fans that aren't fans of those teams, especially if you were to put like a 2-loss Bama in there, they'd go berserk, and it'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Imagine this scenario. Imagine this scenario. Okay. You get Alabama, who didn't lose to A&M.
Okay.
Didn't. Okay.
Hypothetically.
And so undefeated SEC championship game and Alabama loses. Okay.
Woo, that's funny. All right, go.
For whatever happens, for whatever reason, Alabama now drops out of the top 4. Okay. But no big deal because now we have an 8-team playoff. You want Alabama in an 8-team playoff with one loss, pissed off?
Oh, you don't want
I
them.
mean,
You
I
don't want
don't
them.
really
right?
think
I mean, that's
that.
what. And reverse. If it happened to Georgia, you want a wounded, pissed off Georgia running around playing a 6, 7, or an 8 team when they've got one loss and they want Crimson Tide blood. I don't want to play that Georgia team.
Well,
They
I don't.
expand the playoffs, and it just all it's going to do is just give more glory to the SEC.
Yeah, like let's just say if there was 8 teams right now, you know who would get in? Possibly, I know Kentucky would get in. Kentucky's only
Cincy
lost
would
one
be
game.
in.
Kentucky would get in. Maybe Ole Miss. I mean, Auburn's only got one loss, right?
Well, no, hold on. I was going to get to that because
Well, go ahead, Valley.
circle this. Okay, Ole Miss goes to Auburn this weekend. Now, Auburn they actually have 2 losses, but they're like the best 2-loss team out there. They lost to Penn State in a whiteout, and they lost to Georgia at home. But Georgia obviously is looking like they're having that season, so the losses aren't bad. But if Auburn beats Ole Miss, and I think they'll win out the rest of their schedule, Jeff, we have the West on the line in the Iron Bowl, and that hasn't really gone Alabama's way in recent years.
No, but it's going to this year.
I would hope, and I think so. I think we can do it finally.
Remember,
Alabama play at Auburn?
At Auburn, yes.
Right? At Auburn. Remember, Auburn could not do what a really bad Illinois team did, and that's go into Happy Valley and win.
Yeah.
With 38 passing yards, Illinois beat Penn State in Happy Valley.
Yeah,
with
but
38 yards
something
pass.
else. Like Tennessee hung some points on Alabama.
They did, but anytime Alabama,
Tennessee looked good until halfway through the third quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that's a factor of
Alabama
what
lost to an unranked Texas A&M team, which I think should have been ranked. I think they're better than what they were ranked at.
They are. See, like it's not. The thing is that whole Tennessee game thing should fuel Alabama's defense a little bit more to go better. But I also, when I said after the game was give credit, I give props to Josh Heupel. I do think he's maybe the guy that now he's not going to win the East, but maybe he's the best one they've had in a while that could turn this program around in a way.
I think. What is Tennessee? Are they like 4-3?
They're 4-4. They're 2-3 in conference play.
Okay,
that's not bad.
And that's considering that they lost 25 players to the transfer.
Yes,
yeah.
The crap.
That's pretty damn good. And I got to take back what I said about Josh Heupel. I mean, he's got Tennessee 4-4, and I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I don't think anybody
did.
I had them winning 3 games, and we still have four games left in the season. Like Nate,
yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
He's done it. He's done a damn good job.
Yeah, look, Tennessee was not going to beat Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. Okay.
Well, they could. I think if Tennessee played Florida right now, I think Tennessee would win. I honestly do. Florida is broken. I just don't know. I don't know what's going on in Florida. I think Dan Mullen needs to get out of there. They just need to rebuild the whole coaching staff. Todd Grantham is a dumpster fire. Like I don't know what they're doing down there. Everyone says Dan Mullen can't recruit. You know why, right?
Why?
Because he has restrictions. Because he recruited illegally during COVID.
Right.
He cannot recruit off campus. That's why he's not traveling around everywhere like all of his assistant coaches. No one wants to see an assistant coach. They want a head coach come to their house, get some apple pie or something like that,
right?
And like talk to the parent. Like really, really. You want a head coach that comes to your house, spend some time with your family, and Dan Mullen can't do that because he broke the rules.
Speaking of pie, that is my favorite Bobby Bowden story of all time.
Which one?
What's that?
Pie. But you ever heard his story about recruits and pie?
No.
I have. I didn't even mean to say that, but yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, Bowden said the best
Always ask
recruiting
for
trick
seconds.
he ever used was he'd be sitting in some recruit's kitchen and mom and grandma are in there. And they always want to give the coach a piece of pie, because grandma's made her best pumpkin pie, mom made her best gooseberry pie, whatever. And Bowden would say, I don't care if it was the most sickening piece of pie I ever had in my life. I'd eat the whole thing. And then before I'd leave, I'd say, you got a few more minutes because I sure would like to have another piece of that outstanding pie you made. And
Yep.
he'd use that to charm, use his southern charm and charm over grandma and grandma and mama, because when he's gone, mama and grandma are going to say that nice man wants you to come play for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was just Bowden said that was one of his tricks. He said, I don't care if it was the worst damn pie in the world. I always said, boy, that's good. Could I get another piece? You mind if I have one more piece of that pie?
I actually learned that story, and I've told a lot of people of that story when he passed away, Jeff. I've learned that story from you, actually. So I've done pass it on.
Yeah, that's right, Brave.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with some friends at church about this the other day, but what the heck's up with Trayshawn Holden? Because he had a great spring game. He's one of the receivers for Alabama. He was highly recruited, very talented, and he's like third string.
Well, he's in the same boat that Agiye Hall is in, and JoJo Earl, and that is, if you listen very carefully to what Saban said, not only do players have to perform well in practice, they have to perform well in the classroom.
Grades.
And it could be that Trayshawn and Agiye and JoJo, being freshmen, haven't learned the Alabama rule yet, and that was the rule that Clinton Dix talked about in that famous Bama Cuts episode that he did, when he said, you got points, and every Monday you looked on the board in the locker room to see who had points, and you didn't want points. You wanted 0 points. You didn't want a number of points. And like, if you missed a class, it was 5 points. If you were late to a class, it was 3 points. Whatever.
You kept losing points.
Yeah. And he said, if you don't think that didn't affect your playing time, you were in for a big awakening.
Freshman then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all three are.
You guys,
Okay.
would you bet on? Okay, so Auburn at home against Ole Miss this week, but let's skip ahead. Like, could you see them going to A&M and getting a win there? Like, is that like, or are you taking A&M in that type of game? Because I know we were talking Auburn at A&M, because I know we were talking about like the different teams and how Alabama's clear cut to the West. Auburn could beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, well, talk to me after we know what Ole Miss and Auburn, how that plays out.
Yeah, that's fair. Whatever.
Yeah, the Aggies, they're still mathematically in it to win the West.
Yeah.
What's up, LW?
What's up,
What's
Colby?
up, Roll Tide?
Hey, LW. There's Joseph Sandberg. Yeah, now we're getting some people in here. Yeah. Good afternoon, fellas.
Yeah, World Series. Hey, World Series Game 3 on Friday too. By the way, tied at one game each.
Back in Atlanta, I was gonna buy tickets for that game. You know how much tickets were? Standing room only was $216.
That's good for the World Series.
It was good, but standing room only. So I decided to go down to Jacksonville and watch my Dogs beat up on Florida.
Floria, because they ain't got no defense. You gotta take that out of their name.
And then not Jeff Wester. Celine Driver's gonna send me a watch because we had a bet too. So I get a watch and I get to watch the Dogs beat the Gators.
Maybe.
Yeah, the Dogs are going to beat the Gators.
Maybe.
I think so.
Florida's good for 3 interceptions a game. It's going to be easy.
They miss Kyle Trask right now. They're saying, hey, Bruce, slide him back over here. He said, hell no.
Kyle Pitts has been doing good at the Falcons, too.
I tell you what I don't want. I don't want Georgia to lose. I've said this before. I've been saying this for quite a while now. I don't want a wounded, one-loss, fighting for our lives Georgia to be who Alabama plays in Atlanta. I want a fat, happy we're in no matter what Georgia, not a oh my God we gotta win Georgia.
Yeah, that's a game you definitely want to be the underdog in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's going to be a pick 'em.
What do you mean?
You imagine if they both got in there, with one loss, if somehow Georgia drops one somewhere, which is not going to happen, but let's say they did, and they're both in there with one loss, and a 2-loss team isn't making the playoffs. Can you imagine? I mean, it'll be like Obi-Wan and Anakin. I mean, it'll be lightsabers at 2 steps. I mean, it will be the holy war of holy wars.
Yeah.
Hey,
It'll
man,
be
I think the last time
cat versus dog, Coke versus Pepsi. I mean, it'll be, man, if that were to happen. It's not going to, but if it were,
I think the last time Georgia beat Alabama was with, I think it was 2000. I know Jeff knows. Jeff, you probably know. 2007 with Matthew Stafford in overtime.
Yes, and that was in Tuscaloosa.
Matthew Stafford in overtime. John Parker Wilson was the Alabama quarterback, and Stafford in overtime at BDS. Yes.
Jesus, we've played a lot of times since 2007. I cannot believe we haven't beat y'all once. This might be the year. I'm hoping for it. But
the next year,
I'm a reasonable Georgia fan, so
Right.
I'm not getting my hopes up.
The next year was 2008 with Stafford between the hedges, and Georgia came out in their black, and Alabama scored 4 touchdowns in 4 touchdowns in like 22 minutes.
All right, Jeff, kick me while I'm down. Why don't you?
No, I'm just saying that was a blowout. But then in 2012, it wasn't. That was a close.
That was good. I mean, Aaron Murray literally had one of the better games of his life, but Alabama's was still like,
Yeah, if you could use
to the other side of the ball
and Stetson Bennett, you would get an Aaron Murray.
Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand why Georgia fans either they don't want to admit it or they don't see it, or I'm not explaining it right. But let's go back to the 2012 SEC championship game. Let's go back to the 2017 national championship game. Both of those games. Now, you can say that Alabama won the 2012 SEC championship because Georgia mismanaged that last play down there, and C.J. Mosley tipped the pass, and they should have spiked the ball, whatever. Okay, you can say that.
Go back and watch this game again.
Okay, you can say that. You can say that, and you can say that, it was a fluke play, Tua to Devontae. Okay, whatever. All right. Here's the deal. You don't forget, if he kicks that field goal, we don't even have overtime, so you're beat in regulation. But in 2012 and in 2017, the reason why Alabama beat Georgia is because on both occasions, an A.J. McCarron to Amari Cooper bomb and a Tua Tagovailoa to Devontae Smith bomb, Georgia had defensive backs with more than 45 starts get beat on deep balls. That's why you lost those 2 games. Your veteran secondary got burnt deep twice.
And it wasn't even like we were playing like it was what was it? 2nd and 24 or something like that.
26.
26. Okay, whatever. And then
it wasn't like you were
playing
full
like
on.
it was 1st and 10. Like, bring your guys back a little bit. Don't play them so close. That's what. Gee, I don't want to talk. I'm about to leave the stream. I'm so mad right now.
Look, I wasn't trying to make. I was just trying to say that a lot of times people point to this particular play or that particular play when it was it wasn't. It was because on Cooper's go-ahead touchdown in the 2012 championship game.
This one right here.
If Ballard goes to the end of the game, there's like a minute or so left. There isn't a Georgia guy within like 6 or 7 yards of him. There it is. Okay, like 3 yards. Cooper beats him by 2 steps.
And he still does that today.
Well, yeah.
And go back real quick, Ballard. You can
To
look how
the
many
to the
people
Amari
did we
Cooper
rush.
play?
Yeah, go back and see how many people we rushed. Or
Hold on.
Go
y'all.
back to the Cooper touchdown is what he wants to see.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah. Okay, you
How
have
many are rushing on that play? That's a good
looks
question.
like
Let's look.
5 right here, and then 2 secondary guys outside, but you got 5 up front. Looks like
Yeah, but do
No,
they
that's
all
not,
come?
That's not the play.
this is a touchdown right here.
Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4 coming.
One's
just-
down because an offensive lineman pancaked him.
Yeah, so we're rushing 5. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
What's up, Slim?
Why?
There we
I've got
go.
a serious question. Did I just
Okay.
walk into a 5-man circle jerk about a 3-year-old football game?
It's history. Deal with it.
Well, okay. Well, on a serious note, just who's the pivot man?
Who's what?
What do you mean?
I said, who's the pivot man?
Well, I
Oh,
came
that's
in.
me.
I came in last, so I guess me.
Yeah. That's me. I got that's my title. Let me change my
Luck
name
of the
real
draw.
quick. Slim, I wanted to see your rig. Okay, that's bad transition. I wanted to see your truck the other day on Lou's channel, and you didn't show it to me.
Lou, you mean on Slane's yesterday?
Yeah, Celine, sorry.
I did.
When you were doing that walking the line.
Go back and watch Slane's video. I did.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I promise you, it's there.
Gotcha.
It ain't nothing to look at. It's just a damn white Volvo.
It's what I call my oh, never mind.
Well, I didn't mean to come in here and bust up your little party.
No. You're fine, man. We were just kind of talking about like all these
Celine's
different
new pivot man.
and
Or Celine's the new pivot man.
Negative.
Basically, we've been beating our heads to the wall, coming up with playoff scenario A through Z.
yeah.
I mean, because I think me and Colby are the only two in here that aren't Bama fans.
That's right. I thought we were going to be on the same side, and then you called me the pivot man, so I don't know.
But no, I asked who was, and you volunteered yourself for it.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Rewind the tape. Nothing's ever gone forever off the internet.
Yeah.
Where you at, Slim? You on the road?
Yeah, I just crossed the Ohio River out of Cincinnati. Thank Christ.
What are you hauling?
Ass.
Whole bunch of it, right?
No, Ballard's not with me, so not a whole bunch of it.
Oh.
Well, I mean, when I catch a slow ball right across the middle of the plate like that, I've got to look at it.
I've got friends on the Florida Turnpike this afternoon. They stayed overnight in Atlanta last night, and they're driving down to Miami. They're going on the KISS cruise, which they go on every year, which is a cruise with the rock band KISS. They are absolute fanatics, and they go on that every year. So they're on the road today between Atlanta and Miami, which is about 650 miles, I guess. Nice little drive.
Number one, I'm not a KISS fan. Number two, I'm not sure if I entirely trust going to sleep on the same boat as Gene Simmons.
Oh yeah, too much tongue.
I'm that guy's just he'll fuck anything in or out of a skirt. He doesn't care.
Yeah. I've seen KISS. I've seen them 3 times. I saw them twice in the 80s, once with makeup and once without. And then I saw them I've seen them 4 times. I'm sorry. I've seen them in Des Moines inside and in Des Moines in a pouring rain at the Iowa State Fair. So I've seen them 4 times. And all 4 times was with the guy and his wife, who are now driving to go on the cruise. He's like, you know, it was like, well, we're going to go to Kiss. And I'm like, oh, okay.
My only problem with Kiss is their music just didn't match their rhythm.
Well, the first time that I saw Kiss is because that was a trade off. I told him I would go with him to Kiss if he went with me to Judas Priest. So that was a trade.
He got the short end of that stick.
Oh, I got to see two good bands. Neither one of which are my favorites, but they were both entertaining live. I mean, you know, Kiss is not a top 5 band for me, but they do put on a hell of a show as far as, you know, theatrics and you know, effects and all that stuff. I mean, they're a great band live.
Now I have heard that.
Yeah, I get to go see the Rolling Stones in Atlanta November 11th. I've never seen them before. I know they're old and everything, but
you're still not
going to put on a good show.
You're going to see them roll 4 corpses out on the stage is what you're going to see.
Yeah, but I'm a younger soul, so it's going to be cool to say that I can see them live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never seen the Stones. I'd love to see them. I wish I'd seen them when Charlie Watts was still alive.
I mean, I would see them if I was younger. I mean, I'm 27. I probably could have, but it'll be cool to see them play live. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell, Keith Richards' girlfriend's younger than you are.
Yeah, after this stream, I got to head out to Louisiana and pick up a line truck from I'm in Griffin right now. Got to pick up a line truck from Louisiana and drop it off back at our co-op tomorrow morning. So it's going to be a long drive for me.
Yeah, I know where Griffin is. I've had to go there several times.
Yeah, I'm right beside the Speedway.
Well, there's a little place there that refurbs. God, I cannot think of the name of it now. A little place there that refurbs Nexair's bottles. They're compressed gas bottles. They refurb them, repaint them, make them look all nice and pretty.
Is it called Lift Trucks?
No. I can't think of the name of that place now. Because they've got one up in Louisville too, and that's the one I go to, or not Louisville, Evansville, Indiana, and that's the one I go to more often.
Gotcha.
Should we all be rooting for Georgia to not only beat Florida but absolutely demolish them so that Mullen and Grantham would get fired so that we can quit hearing the fucking neurotic Jew kvetch over the Florida? Because I'm getting almost as sick of that as I am of Lou talking about Stetson Bennett and fucking JT Daniels.
Actually, I'm kind of enjoying it all. I always root for upsets. Let Florida go in there and smack them around. It'd be funny.
I'm actually going to the game, so I hope we beat the fucking brakes off of them. Excuse my French, Ballard, but
I tell you what,
I have no game whatsoever.
The mental
I don't care who wins or loses.
The mental health society in Georgia has got to be on high alert right now, because if they have the double whopper of the Braves choking away the World Series and Georgia not winning the Natty, you'll have a statewide outbreak of depression like you've never seen.
Buy some stock in Xanax.
I've already actually scheduled sessions for my therapist just in case.
Because I really do honestly think this. I mean, I honestly think that Georgia believes they've got to win it all this year. I mean, I don't think they'd be satisfied beating Alabama in the SEC championship game. That would be great. They would love that.
Who?
but they really, really want that natty. And if they don't get that natty this year with all the stars aligned, oh boy.
Well,
Georgia,
around here,
sorry that I had to drop out. The internet cut off, but I'm back on. I'm assuming you're still talking about Georgia, like winning it. Here's the thing. I don't know what it is. Every team fan base, and you can't tell me there's not one out there that dreams even a little bit about a natty. Georgia fans, their ceiling is the SEC title. That's it, right? They need to go further. We've seen them win the SEC, right? That's the thing. It's like we've done that, but I don't even know.
well, I'll say this: our ceiling is the SEC, but our expectations are national championships.
You
Right.
need the coach for it.
I said this before. If I'm a Georgia fan, I look at the situation this year. I've got Florida off of their game. I've got a wounded Alabama and nobody really in the West except for those Crimson guys who I'm really worried about. I look around the country and I don't see anybody who really scares me. There's some teams I respect, but I'm not really scared. But I also know I'm losing 7 defensive starters. My offense isn't as great as maybe I've made it out to be. All the stars are aligned now. This is the time to strike. And if they don't get it done this year, I'm not saying that they're going to fall off. I'm not saying Georgia 2022 is LSU 2020. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Georgia's chances are greater this year than they will be next year and the year after that. So Georgia needs to do it now.
Right. And they're in a position that they haven't been in a while, and that's being a national brand and contender. It's been a couple years. Let's just call it what it is. The whole Stetson Bennett thing, he's the best quarterback you have right now. I get it. But
No,
it
he's
didn't
not.
seem like last year. Who is?
You said Stetson Bennett's our best quarterback we have
Yeah,
right
he
now?
should be the guy, and he is.
Stetson Bennett is not our best quarterback.
Yeah, but until somebody beats him, I wouldn't change the record.
Right.
I mean, you're dancing to a winning tune. You're dancing to a winning tune right now. Why change?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly why. Do you think Stetson Bennett has been better this year than last year?
I think so. I think when he stepped out on that field, he's looked pretty good.
How so?
I just feel like he's just working with the receivers. He's, got better O-line protection, and I just think that his decision-making and everything.
I haven't
Okay, so
seen
do
him.
you think JT is better at throwing the ball?
I think so, but
Do you
it
think
should
he's better
look.
at reading the defense?
Georgia, I'll admit, is not one of those teams that can plug and play and still be okay. They have to have the right players on the field, right? Is that
We've been plugging
yes.
and playing ever since the start of the season. We've had injured wide receivers, injured running backs even. All we do is plug and play.
They had the
We've
offseason
had
practice.
injured quarterbacks. JT Daniels is the guy. You've seen what happens with Stetson.
He's
I
good.
know your Bama fans remember it.
I would say they need JT Daniels for the SEC title game and playoffs
Against
versus
Auburn.
Ohio State and stuff
Like I said,
that for sure.
Thank you, man. Thank you. JT Daniels is, or let me say, Stetson Bennett is the ceiling. JT Daniels is the national
Above
champion.
and beyond.
I mean, just look at the
And
way he
again,
plays.
that's just my opinion. I mean, it's like
Everyone-
I feel
everyone
like you
thinks that-
Georgia fans, and I don't. Can I say something just real quick? And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you guys don't think that Stetson. Forget being the guy, but I feel like you guys look at him and say he's just not a good quarterback at all. He's great.
I'm gonna tell you what, Ballard. JT Daniels gets into the SEC championship game and he blows his ACL on the third snap of the game. And Stetson Bennett leads Georgia to a national championship.
Oh, yeah.
The Georgia fans are going to say, well, yeah, Stetson led us to a natty, but if we had JT, we would have won by more points. They're just never, ever going to accept Stetson Bennett.
Well, you know,
Because they're biased and they're blinded that he's a great quarterback. He's amazing.
My problem.
He's the best choice. Go ahead.
Here's my problem with this whole situation. Number one, if JT Daniels isn't ready to go against Florida, he doesn't need to come in the rest of the year. Because you put him in cold the SEC championship game, he'll get slaughtered. Number two,
Auburn will slaughter him.
I said in the SEC championship game.
Ole Miss, whoever it is.
Ole Miss and Auburn aren't making the SEC championship. Stop it. And number two,
What?
I don't get where this fascination is. I'm not saying JT Daniels isn't better than Stetson Bennett, but I haven't seen it. And to say he threw for 400 yards against a couple of bad defenses doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Slim. I don't see where all this love for JT Daniels comes from. I don't see it at all.
Okay.
And again, that's not even saying that he's bad. He's great. We know he is. But, Stetson,
I do think JT Daniels does have a higher ceiling than Stetson Bennett, yes. I do think he is better than Stetson Bennett just on physical quality. He's taller, stronger, he's heavier, he's going to be more durable. But I don't see this lights-out quarterback that I keep hearing Georgia fans talk about out of JT Daniels.
they don't have one.
Well, Colby, you probably know the stats better than anybody in the group. What are Bennett's pass attempts per game averaging?
Averaging 18, 19.
Yeah, they mostly.
It's not when JT's in, we pass more. I will say that.
Yeah,
but
that's what
I will say this about Georgia fans, and I'm even guilty about it too. We don't trust Stetson because he can't win the big games. Like and that's just history. And I think
we don't know if JT can either. Is that not fair?
He did win against the number 2 team in the nation right now.
When?
Stop.
Talking about Clemson?
No.
Are you talking about?
Hang on. Y'all were vastly more talented than Cincinnati, and frankly, that was an embarrassment that game was even that close.
Agree.
And at the time, Cincinnati wasn't what they are this year. They're a whole lot better. They're a whole lot different. So don't sit there and be like, oh, well, Cincinnati's the number 2 team right now, and we had beat them a couple years ago.
There's also a big difference. Last year, Cincinnati was led by its defense. This year, it's led by its offense. And
Desmond Ridder is doing good. I'll give him props.
I'm just saying, I know the only thing that Stetson Bennett is better than JT at is just the RPO. So you can hand it off and then fake it to Stetson, and then Stetson will run for a first down on 2nd and 5. That's the only thing that Stetson is better at. I'm telling you, just JT is just a better quarterback in general.
But that's exactly what Mike.
Slim said he's more durable. I don't know why he said that. I mean, he's like the Tua of Georgia.
But see, that's what might hurt you,
Overhyped, not really
against
good. Is that what you're saying?
The further you go, Colby, and the better teams you play, not having to respect the quarterback run might end up hurting you against some defenses that are just going to lay back and say, okay, JT, you got to hit the sparrow in the eye from 100 yards because we don't respect you running the ball, and we're going to drop back.
So y'all think that Stetson should start over JT?
Yes, he's the better option. If you want a leader for your offense that everyone's going to work better with and respond to.
Well, didn't you say Bryce Young should be benched too?
No, I never said. Hang on, Ballard.
I don't actually mean that.
Hang on, Ballard. I never said.
We don't have a championship team, but
I was saying JT is better than Stetson. But what I was saying is I don't get where all this hype is coming from that JT is some game-changing quarterback. And as far as durability, number one, I don't trust Kirby that he's not healthy to play. And number two, He's had one injury, and that can literally happen to anybody on any given play.
Yeah, I hear you.
One thing to Colby's point, you look at the history of the national championship, go back to like 2015, all the winning teams are scoring 40 and 50 points in the title games.
All I'll say is this. Let's just
When it seems like Georgia is content with playing defense, running the ball of who they're playing now. But
let me just give a
against
summary
Alabama and Ohio State, I think you're going to need a guy who can, throw the ball.
I completely agree with that. And that's also kind of to be expected from a DC turned head coach. I mean, if we're being honest. Nick Saban was the same way for a lot of years.
Yeah, I think Todd Monken is literally controlling the whole offense right now. Kirby might have a say-so every now and again, but Todd Monken is controlling the offense more than ever under Kirby Smart.
I mean, Nick Saban saw the light, but he only saw the light because it was forced upon him.
Yep.
Georgia is set up, and they are finally back to being not just competing for the SEC, but national contention. Kirby is a great head coach. He's pretty good. He can recruit. And it seems as if he's taken his hands off the offense and just gave it to the coordinator, which he needs to do because he's not the guy that can coach a whole team. He's more on the defensive side, and he's got that down flat. Here's the thing about the quarterbacks. I like JT Daniels, but I'm telling you, man, it's Stetson. It seems like he works a little better with the players, right? And when you guys play, you're gonna win the East. Whoever comes out of the West, we don't know.
Ballard,
It'll be Ole Miss.
Game?
What?
Have you watched every Georgia game? Every snap?
Not every week. No, not every week.
You would have absolutely no clue whether or not Stetson Bennett works better or not. I'm sorry, you just don't.
He's putting up good numbers.
That's because he has elite talent around him. Elite talent
like
can
Bryce
make
Young?
an average.
Like Bryce Young?
No, I didn't say that. I haven't watched enough Alabama.
I'm telling you.
But I've seen it at Miami. Elite talent can make an average quarterback look a lot better than you.
So who would you start at quarterback at Georgia, Slim?
I would put in JT Daniels. To me, he's your best bet.
Well, I thought you just said Stetson was better for our fit.
No, Ballard said that.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
All right. That's what I'm saying. JT will get us to a national championship. Stetson will not.
But my point is, if you don't play JT this week against Florida, there's no point never putting him in.
Oh yeah, if JT don't play this weekend, he might as well sit out the rest of the season and then come back next year for a draft stock.
Yeah, pretty much. Although both him and Stetson Bennett can come back, both can come back next year.
Don't remind Stetson of that. That man's been there for 12 years, man. I
already sent him a message on Twitter. I sent him a DM on Twitter to remind him.
Yeah, well, tell him to transfer to Miami.
Hell no, we got our quarterback figured out.
Yeah, y'all look good. What was his name? It was a third.
The thing is,
starting the beginning.
Tyler Van Dyke.
Georgia.
He was third string, right?
What?
At the beginning of the year?
No, he was second string.
Oh, second string. Okay.
All the Miami fans were hyping up Jake Garcia, but Miami fans are really bad about the shiny new toy. So they're going to hype up whoever the big name player is that comes in every recruiting class. No, Jake Garcia.
Roll down Tide.
Yeah.
It was always Tyler Van Dyke was going to be the next man up.
So, okay. Maybe you guys are right about the quarterback situation. Look, Georgia is finally back to saying, we could actually, be competitive this year.
I'll be right back, guys.
I mean, look, and whoever they look, I said this, whoever they play in the SEC title, we don't know who it is yet. You can sit there and think it's going to be Alabama. It's not a for sure thing. You got to watch Ole Miss Auburn, and especially if Auburn wins that game and wins out, wins the Iron Bowl. You know, Georgia's still better than any of those teams. They're literally the only team in the SEC right now that's a national championship team this year. Period. I'm giving them props. I said it. That's it.
Ole Miss could give them fits.
They could. I told you. I made a video a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago. I don't know. And I said we need this, right? Because if we're talking about Georgia having the best defense, and I'm not saying necessarily that Ole Miss has the best offense in the country. I really don't know who does, but it's one of the best. And especially even Matt Corral's still like the Heisman front runner, is he not? At least from quarterbacks.
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean,
We need that matchup, man.
You ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers.
It's going to be like 20. It's going to be like 2018 when Kyler Murray won it. That there's nobody that's really, or when Lamar Jackson won it, there's nobody that's really standing out. You're just going to have to pick somebody out of the hat.
Yeah,
there's no clear-cut winner.
Chances are, I mean, the safe bet's always going to be a quarterback from a top 15 team.
Right.
That's the bet.
Joseph Sandberg says Kenny Pickett. I'll tell you what, Kenny Pickett's looking pretty good at Pittsburgh. I don't know about Heisman, but I mean, I could see him being a finalist in New York, but I don't know if he's going to win it. He's good.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if Warren Sapp, for whatever people think of him, Warren Sapp literally won every award he could possibly win and was a Heisman finalist. If he can't win the Heisman, no defensive player can. And I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Hugh Green should have won the Heisman for Pitt. That's the Pitt player that should have won the Heisman. Hugh Green should have won the Heisman in 1979.
Is it fair to say now? I know I've been critical of only because of his injury stuff. That just pisses me off. I know he was great. Was he the best quarterback Alabama's ever had? I mean, we've had some good ones. It's debatable, but if he doesn't get hurt against Georgia and he himself finds a way to win it, does he win the Heisman Trophy that year?
I don't think it matters. He's injury prone. Not going to last much longer in the NFL regardless.
That's true.
And I mean, that's not a knock on him. That's luck of the draw. Somebody started their car.
Yeah, sorry about that. About to go so get something to eat. Hey, y'all, see y'all later. Appreciate the stream, Ballard.
What?
I said appreciate the stream, Ballard.
Yeah, thanks.
Later, Colby.
All right, man. See you later. Be safe.
I am telling you, I am worried about Alabama. They have got to fix that. Their defense needs to be more consistent. Offense has got to figure it out with Bryce. The receivers, really, and the offensive line, because they're gonna run into who do they have coming up? I'm not sleeping on Jordan Hare and Auburn. Auburn's great.
Ballard, you're wigging out over one loss. Every team, pretty much.
No, even still, even a couple other games, it hasn't been all that.
Well, remember, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but remember, Ballard, 2015.
We did it with Jay Coker. If we could do it with Jay Coker, I'm sure we can do it with Bryce.
He lost to Ole Miss early, and then you played a 3-4 Tennessee team. And
we didn't play anybody worth anything, and we still won the West. And
barely beat a 3-4 Tennessee team, 19-14. Nobody thought Alabama, but they ended up winning it. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's too much football to be played.
And listen, as much trash as we tend to talk around all these channels, because it's just what we do.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to look at game, and this is why I butt heads with so many Miami fans. I swear to God, these people don't even watch the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami is literally 3 drop passes and 5 points from being 6-1.
Yeah. I just think like we are more led on the defensive side, and I knew
Yeah,
losing what they had last year.
We're not allowing a kickoff return from being undefeated.
Right.
So
It's awesome. I mean,
so
we're
yeah,
hitting hard, and the defense is what's leading
There you
us,
go.
and the offense is better than I expected, but it's still not championship level.
The defense isn't leading us. Bryce Young had 375 yards and 3 touchdowns against A&M. It was the defense.
Well, he's
What-
getting better each week.
Alabama has shown some chinks in the armor. The reason why they have the record they have is because, unlike most teams who have chinks in their armor, Bama's armor is made up of 4 and 5 stars. So sometimes, like what happened against Tennessee just wore down and gave up 28 points late in the game because Alabama's depth and all those 4 and 5 stars just overwhelmed them in the end. That's what makes Alabama dangerous. You can expose their weaknesses, but the other people around them are so talented that it's hard to kill the king.
And I think using the Tennessee game is a bad example too, because Tennessee just came into that game red hot on offense.
Yeah,
And
I'll say that
a better day, it works out for you.
I got to give props to Josh Heupel too. I do think, and I mean, look, Tennessee's far from SEC championship, winning the East and all that. But I do think, like, even in the first year, with everything they lost this offseason, I like what Heupel's done, and Heupel's going to turn this program around. I really do think that. I think they found their guy. Now, how long it takes them to win anything relevant is beyond me. But I do think, like, if he can pick it up a little bit, and they could get some 7-5, 8-4 seasons on a consistent basis, I think Tennessee fans have nothing to complain about.
Well,
I think
time to do it.
I think some of the more disappointing teams this season is I expected more out of USC. I didn't think Clemson would have the losses that they have. I'm not surprised at Indiana. I knew Indiana was paper.
I was told in the offseason, DJ is supposed to be the Heisman front runner. This is going to be the best Clemson defense ever. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can't wait to see what they look like. Now it's like Clemson is bad. Like they're on a downfall.
But no, they're not, Ballard. Clemson is still a top 2 defense in the nation.
Oh, I know that.
And the only real problem with their offense is the offensive line. You fix that offensive line, DJ's got some time to throw the ball, and we've seen him do it. He can sit there and pick you apart.
Play calling.
Well, okay, you want to say play calling?
That's the problem.
Yeah, I there's no if Clemson turns around and goes 11-1 next year, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't think they're disappearing, and I don't think they're in disarray in the locker room like Florida and LSU are. I just think they're having some issues that can be fixed. Again, they've got lots of talent there. It's just a matter of fixing a few technical things, and then those are things that can be addressed. They're not systemic issues.
And I say the same thing about Miami. I mean, you listen to the Miami fans talk about it. The locker room's divided, despite what the players come out and say, despite what the coaches come out and say. But I mean, if you just sit there and look at the games, okay, they're leading the country in missed tackles. That's fixable. That's playing your damn assignment right.
Yeah.
Leading the country, at least they were when before Derek King got hurt, and drop passes. Once again, very fixable. And then penalties kill them a lot. I mean, even in that.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Even in that NC State game, I mean, that game there would have been a further gap in that score, but Miami had like 10 or 11 penalties for over 100 yards.
And for some reason they decided to show up to the game wearing Virginia's uniforms. I don't know. I didn't understand that.
What are you talking about?
Miami.
They were
I
wearing
saw the highlights. I had no idea I was looking at the Miami Hurricanes. I thought I was looking at Virginia.
blue. Miami was wearing black.
Yeah, look at the two colors of the U. That's what I expect to see Miami in.
Hey, don't ask me where they got it. Those ones are not my favorites. I actually like the first blackout that they did, which was just the regular uniform. Those ones where they put the weird stripes and shit, and I wasn't into all that.
Hey, so does Penn State has a chance to beat Ohio State or no?
Who?
No. Okay.
Who?
Tennessee beating Ohio State? What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm just asking if there's a possibility.
You mean
Who beat
Penn State?
Ohio
In Penn
Who
State, Ohio State?
They beat Ohio State before at the shoe.
Nate,
But-
who are
Well,
you
they can
talking
beat them
about?
this weekend.
Hang
They can
on,
beat 'em.
Ballard. Hang on,
Okay.
Ballard. Nate, who are you talking about?
But I'm talking about, like, is there a possibility if Penn State can upset Ohio State?
Okay.
Yes.
That's what we were wondering about. We heard Ohio State. We couldn't. We were
I
trying to
heard.
figure-
I thought he said. I swear to you, I thought he said, "Can Tennessee beat Ohio State this week?" I said, "Wait, what?" I'd love to see it, but I thought he said Tennessee.
I mean, yeah. There's a possibility. Any
Chances
team,
are high.
any other team on any given day.
I'll say this. I think Ohio State is one of the more overrated teams this year. I really don't. I don't think they're one of the East. I'm not saying it's going to be Penn State or whatever, but man, you also
Right
got
now,
a game this weekend with Michigan State and Michigan.
My money's on Michigan to win it right now.
Do you think Michigan beats Ohio State?
Yeah, I think they can.
Because that's
They could if they start JJ McCarthy, the true freshman.
are they still? They're still playing McNamara, right?
Yeah, because I know McNamara's consistent, but
Yeah.
he can't win big games like.
Well, much like I said, you don't want to throw.
Like it wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State won the Big Ten, won the East, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. You get what I'm saying?
Much like I said, you don't want to throw JT Daniels out in the SEC championship game because he hasn't played. You don't want to throw a true freshman into the Michigan-Ohio State game either.
Well, no. I know that, but I know JJ McCarthy can do some excitement plays, though. I'm saying.
There's a lot of freshmen that can. Miami fans I like to make this mistake a lot. Okay, that whoever the starter is, they did something they didn't like. They didn't make this play, whatever it is, and all of a sudden everybody's on the bandwagon to throw the true freshman in there, and they did it. And you saw, perfect example, you saw them do it against North Carolina or do it against Virginia. That's the reason we lost that game. Because the mistakes the true freshman went out there and made by dint of being true freshmen.
I'll tell you something, and this is where I'm trying to get with Ohio State a bit. I love their offense, but there's some other offenses that they have to face. I'm going to tell you what, Michigan is not giving up as many points as Ohio State. Neither is a team like Penn State. Now, Michigan State's kind of right there. Iowa has a better defense in the Big Ten than Ohio State does. Their defense compared to some of the other ones, especially
close.
Yeah, no, it's not close. That's what I'm saying, Nate. It's like, I get their offense, but if they win the East, They got to go play Iowa's defense. Iowa could tear them apart.
Well, I don't
No.
know about the offense about Iowa, but defense-wise, yes.
Here's the problem with that, Ballard. Iowa's defense is going to slow them down for a little bit, but then Iowa's defense is going to run out of gas because Iowa doesn't have all.
That's the only bad.
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I was thinking too. All I was trying to get at, not forget about teams beating Ohio State. I'm just saying slow them down and the defenses that the offense will have to face. So don't give me this, the offense is in position and it's elite and it's like one of the best things since sliced bread. I mean, look,
Ohio State's offense is elite, Ballard.
well, I know it is, but it's going to face some challenges coming up defensively, and we're going to find out truly what they're made of. Because, I mean, okay, they're so good. They put up 41 on Tulsa. They put 59 on Akron. They put 52 on Rutgers. They put 66 on Maryland. Okay, I get their high scoring. But even Alabama a couple years ago was beating. They were beating teams like Arkansas State and Mercer.
Yeah, they played nobody. Maybe.
And then they got exposed in the playoffs. They had a tough game against Georgia. These things happen.
Georgia's an elite defense. Ballard, you are picking terrible example. Georgia is an elite. Yes, Georgia's an elite defense. But they still
played Clemson.
We lose Slim.
Yeah.
What are the other Big Ten teams doing offensively? I don't know. Peyton Thorne and Caden McNamara are supposed to face off this Saturday. They both have thrown for over 1,000 yards. Peyton Thorne has 15 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker.
Here's the thing. McNamara only has 5 touchdowns, which is not very good for, a really good. Well, I don't want to say really good, but just you know what I mean, like a really good completion rate. He needs to have more touchdowns. That's all I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing. Who's to say they're not just handing the ball off to the running back in the red zone to pound it in? It doesn't really matter who gets it as long as you get it. Sure, It looks better on one player's stat sheet for another, but that's it.
Yeah.
And me being a fan of the team, I could care less which player's stat sheet looks better than the other one.
Right.
Now, I think Ohio State's going to beat Penn State this weekend. Don't get it wrong. But I'm still, I think – look, they are not – all I'm trying to say is that they are not what people make them out to be. They're not as good as they look. And they're going to play some defenses coming up. That's going to prove that.
But Ballard, everybody said this is probably the Ohio State team in 5 years.
They what?
I said everybody said this is probably the worst Ohio State team in 5 years.
Right. I'm saying
so I mean, nobody's really hyping up Ohio State. Everybody said this is one of the worst they've had.
Except for Ohio State fans.
Well, and Ohio State fans are going to do that. Just like I'm going to hype up my team, you're going to hype up yours. I mean, that's to be expected.
Oh, okay.
Well,
plus you were saying, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Ohio State's got 2 receivers that are probably going to go in the first round. I think they're good. I think for whoever they play the rest of the year, they're good for at least 24, 28 points at minimum.
Yeah.
40 max.
Here's my worry about Michigan State this upcoming Saturday. I'm worried that if they're – I don't know if they rarely do this, but do they usually run the ball? as much as Michigan, but I don't know. They might. I don't know.
All you have to do to beat Michigan State is sell out the run. That's literally all you have to do.
Which
They've got-
means
Yeah, their run defense is not the best.
They've
which
got
mean-
Michigan State's got an elite running back, and they're going to feed him the ball.
Oh, okay.
For
We're
Michigan,
talking about the Kenneth Walker, right?
Or yeah.
Yep.
for teams like Michigan and Iowa to beat
Oh,
Ohio State, or they're gonna have to make the game ugly. Like a 6-minute drive, even if they just score a field goal. Limit the time of possession. Because if you give Ohio State a lot of possessions, they're just gonna break at some point.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, especially for a team like Iowa who has offensive problems, their best bet is the long, sustained drives. Run the ball down Ohio State's throat.
Yeah, keep them out of rhythm.
Yeah.
So Ohio State's in the Big East. Well, I won't say championship, but like they're in the finals and looking for a proponent right now. What I mean by that is like Michigan and Michigan State playing in the semifinals for the Big Ten East Championship, whatever it is. Now, I just hope it's a good game. Actually, you know what? It is going to be a good game because both teams are really good. Like, I would like to expect that from the game, but if it's a Buckeye blow again, which it shouldn't be, but if it was,
In favor of.
Harbaugh needs to go. Just saying. Now if it's close, I would stick with Harbaugh just another year. But
I don't think Harbaugh's in any danger whatsoever. I really don't. I mean, yeah, he hasn't beat Ohio State.
That's why he was hired, though. That's the thing is like he can't even beat his rival.
Nobody's going to justify firing a 10, 11 year win a year coach. Nobody's going to be able to justify that.
Here's the thing. He's going to get him at some point. And I really think that it's this year.
And that's why I've said that, because it just seems tilted in Michigan's favor this year.
Like I've been saying, I think their defense and everything, I think it's one of his better teams in recent years. I mean, he's had some down years where, it's like, okay, this is why you were hired. Let's beat him this time around. He wasn't really in a good position. I really think that he has that kind of.
Well, no, he's been in good,
and
he's been in good positions.
He has, but he's also had some down years where it seemed like he just didn't have a true chance at all.
But this year, it just really seems like, okay, nobody's afraid of Ohio State's defense, so Michigan's offense is going to be able to move. And I think they need to take the approach of, since Ohio State's offense is good, Michigan just needs to run the ball down their throat. To me, that's the way. Long, sustained drives, keeping Ohio State's offense off the field, I think is the formula for pretty much anybody to beat Ohio State.
Simple enough. Not really. But, I mean, it's simple to hear that and be like, all right, we just got to keep them off the field. But, I mean, I'll even admit, I know I've been saying some stuff about Ohio State. I know they got great offense.
Who's scared of their defense? That's my point. I said, who's
their defense? See, they've had guys.
Ballard, that's the point, is keep their defense on the field, which is the weak part of their game.
It's not even just the weak part of them. I mean, it's weak, period. It's like, I just – and they've had great defenses before, but now it's like they've done lost it.
Yeah, Michigan.
Ohio State, Georgia would be a great match. Might have to wait a year or two. I don't know.
Not this year. It wouldn't.
It would not this year. No, Georgia. I think Georgia would smoke them. Their defense would be all over C.J. Stroud.
Georgia's an elite defense, and who is scared of Ohio State's defense? Nobody.
Nobody.
Which, I mean, Ryan Day is the exact opposite of Kirby Smart. He's an offensive guy. So you expect Ohio State's offense to be better and for them to be lacking a little more on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my opinion, for right now, I think Michigan can go if they beat Penn State too. I think they can go 11-1. But lost to Ohio State at this point. That's what I think right now. But who I don't know. Who knows? They might win. I don't know. But I'm just not sold on the game right now. But just saying. So. And plus, Jim Harbaugh Jim Harbaugh will have the best record if he goes 11-1. I think that's gonna be a milestone if that happens. So,
Michigan's got better cornerbacks, and one of their safeties, Dax Hill, he'll be playing.
Daxton Hill's amazing.
He'll be
I think
playing in the
he's
NFL
not
next
a
year.
player. He's not a player we're giving enough credit to. I don't think.
Exactly. Why is he not on the top 15 or top 15 on the draft list? Go ahead.
Aiden Hutchinson on the edge. Keep an eye on him too.
He's more
the Draft Network has him as the number 6 overall player on their list for next year's draft.
I don't know how long that actually was because it's been a long time since if a Michigan player was in the top 5 or top 10 in the first round because it's been a long time. And yes, Ohio State has the most first rounders, or actually tied with Bama, I think. I don't know, with the first rounders for draft. But
yeah,
it depends on what you're talking about. The most first rounders in one single draft, Miami holds that record.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Alabama tied that, didn't they? Or Ohio State tied.
I don't know, probably.
No. You have to figure off Miami's 01 squad, 11 of those guys were first round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
11.
Yeah.
Literally one side of that whole team was first round draft picks.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary. And
it would have been 12 because a lot of people thought Clinton Porter should have gone first round.
I don't know. I haven't heard of this Justin Stetson been originally recruited by Vince Dooley. Who's that? Who's Vince Dooley? I don't know what that is.
Well, coach.
Oh, coach for.
He was the one that won the championship in '80. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Yeah, he was UGA's coach in 1980.
So that makes Stetson Bennett the second oldest quarterback ever. I don't know. Because Jeff said in the last 20 years, but I don't know.
20 years, I don't know. I think Chris Winkie was the oldest one to win.
Okay, I got an interesting question for y'all. If you had to replace a rival for a new one, what would it be?
Are you
Like,
saying like for example, if I got rid of a Bama rival, would I take a different team, or what are you saying?
if you need to add a different team if you replace like a rival, like for example Tennessee, which is not gonna happen, but
No, I
like
can't replace them. Can't replace
and add like
them.
Georgia or something like that. That's what I'm asking.
I'd like to bring back because I got family, Penn State and Alabama, but I don't know who I'd replace it with. Um, there's not really any out of conference rivals.
I mean, there's some, but not really a lot. But Sun Shady, do you have anything? Like, if you had to replace a rival, like for example, like Florida State, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but like, who would you add to replace a rival that hasn't been as good in the recent years? I was trying to say that, yeah.
I would keep Florida State on the schedule, and I'd make them play Florida and Notre Dame every year.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Like, is it called Catholics versus?
They really only called it that 1 year.
Oh, it should be a rivalry. Notre Dame and BYU. The Catholics versus the Mormons. I'm just saying. Yeah, I wish Bama was. Actually, I don't want to say that, but you know what? Whatever. I wish Bama could play Michigan Oklahoma home series, but that's not gonna happen. Just saying.
It's 6, Slim.
Huh?
The draft pick thing.
Oh. Yeah.
Alabama and Miami are tied for 6.
That's cool. Well, I don't know how to say that first. Who's second? Probably.
I think it was Ohio State with 5.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they're the first. And plus LW, did you hear what I said, like, or ask, or like if you can replace a rival like that hasn't been really good in recent years, what would you add to your rival to replace that?
For Alabama?
Yeah.
I'd like to play Georgia every year. Or not Georgia, Florida.
Florida? Oh.
Alabama, it goes Auburn, then Tennessee, and then probably Florida.
Okay.
LSU has us number 1, but they're like our 4th or 5th.
Yep.
I'd like to see the Texas and Texas A&M rivalry back, along with
they were supposed to bring that back. I thought.
What?
Along with Oklahoma and Nebraska too.
Man, I wish Oklahoma and Nebraska would be almost home series, but which I mean it is, but like every
annual,
year,
right?
Every year, non-conference schedule, play every year, and then they don't do it. But whatever.
I just need a lid for a break. They were the wrong
So yeah, I have a question. I have a wider question for you, Slim. Is there a water spout, or is water spouts rare in Florida, or the most common? Like,
Not sure what you're talking about.
Like water spouts, like water tornadoes.
Oh, I've never seen one. No.
Oh, you never seen one? Oh, okay. Never mind. They're probably rare.
Get on the tornadoes down there.
Basically, a water tornado. I can't freaking say anything. A
You don't
water
get-
tornado is a
You don't.
water spout that spins on water. So
Yeah, you don't get a whole lot of tornadoes. Period. You get
yeah.
hurricanes.
Slim, you don't live in Florida, do you?
Not anymore. I used to. I was born and raised down there, but I live in Memphis now.
Launch. And we have liftoff. Is Weidemer best tight end in a college ball this year?
Who?
Hey, Ballard, if Michigan can go 11-1, would they go to Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, or
Who's their loss to?
right now? I think Ohio State, but that's right now. As of right now, I think. But
Well, where are the playoff games, the semifinals? What bowl?
They're
Uh,
cotton and orange. Michigan could be a Rose Bowl team. Big Ten, right?
yeah,
Is it Big Ten and Pac-12? They
Yep.
could go to the Rose Bowl.
and may play Oregon or actually maybe Arizona State, maybe.
Maybe that would be good.
Yeah, Arizona State is actually pretty good, to be honest. But they have lost to bad teams, so I don't want to make them very, very good though.
So what's your score, Nate, for the Michigan State game?
I think it's be close, but I think Michigan can win this one. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but I think Michigan has the slightly upper hand, like let's see, 28-17.
That's a good score. I picked 27-17 Michigan. It's pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, it could be 28-24, but about who asked or Colby said that are you still calling into the morning show? But whatever, you don't have to answer.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. But well, tomorrow. Okay.
So you unblocked everybody, Ballard?
Yeah, pretty much.
And plus I almost got fired that one day. If I don't know if LW remembers, but I think you do remember LW. I think never the time or never that day I almost got fired.
No, what happened?
Oh well, basically I kind of pulled a chest haul that I slept in, but I didn't really slept that I slept, but and I forgot to. Well, I realized that I forgot to call into the morning show or the muster show, whatever.
Morning shoe.
Yeah. But morning show, and Lou said Lou was going to say Nate's fired, and I called him right when before he said it. So I was kind of lucky.
I don't feel bad. It happens to the best of us. When I was young,
I don't know.
When I was young, one time
what he
I
means by
went
fired, or he probably means like banned for like a week or something like that.
I was sitting there thinking about it, LW. You know what it might have been? And is not all those guys I was talking about went the same draft. Some of them probably went the next year.
Well, I thought it was 01 too, but it's actually 04 for the Miami.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, a lot of those guys that were on that team that went so high, weren't necessarily seniors then.
Yeah. for sure.
I mean, because
I can't remember.
that's why they
Andre
went back to
Hello?
the national. Andre Johnson was in the national title game next year.
Yeah.
You're back.
Had most of the defense. I mean, like Ed Reed was gone, but you still had, Vince Wilford, Jonathan Vilma, Sean Taylor. You still had those guys.
Yeah, this draft, I don't know. I would guess Georgia's probably going to have the most draft picks this year.
How do you think?
Well, you got to figure Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean will probably.
Well, sometimes too, it depends on, it also depends on positions of need. I mean, guys will drop down,
yeah,
from
for sure.
first to second, or sometimes even third, depending on what the needs are in the NFL that year.
Well, I've heard so many NFL coaches say, they usually get more hits in the second round because there's usually about 45 players that are rated first round picks, but there's only 32 picks.
Yeah, well, it's like I said about Clinton Portis. I don't think many people would disagree with the talent he had in college and NFL. That Clinton Portis probably could win the first round, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, you look at what Derrick Henry's doing. I mean, he was taking late second round?
I think so. Derrick Henry's had like a second coming in his NFL career, though. I mean, his was, he got drafted, started off a little hot, petered out, and then caught a second wind.
Yeah, I think they finally realized when they're trying to, he's best at getting a shit ton of carries, 25, 30. And if you give him the ball enough, people just get tired of tackling him. And at any point, he can bust a big one,
Well, the only problem with that is you're not winning. You're not going to win a Super Bowl if your whole offense is Derrick Henry.
Well, I think that's why they probably went out and got Julio Jones to match up with Brown,
I still think Ryan Tannehill's their problem.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I could name a few quarterbacks that were on the Titans, they'd probably be unbeatable.
No one's unbeatable, though. I mean,
I would like to see if it worked out this year. They haven't done it since 2019 because I was at the game, and he didn't do it then. Derrick Henry didn't rush for a bunch of yards against Tampa's defense in 2019.
Yeah.
no, he didn't.
And that defense is starting to gel. They're getting injured players back. I mean, I'm not gonna go out thumping my chest over them stomping the Bears, but their defense is starting to gel a little bit now.
Well, anytime. Was that at home or on the road, the Bears?
That was at home.
That was at home.
Yeah, we played at the Bears last year, and we lost by 2.
Well, as long as you got Tom Brady, you got a shot. So I think you're good.
Hey, I'll take him. I mean, I was never one. I didn't have any hate for Tom Brady. I mean, it was one of those, you're kind of tired of seeing the Patriots in there. But outside of that, I was like, go do your thing. I mean, he's a good quarterback. But I love me some Tom Brady in the Tampa uniform.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it. The same shit, with Alabama. I get, people get sick of the same team winning all the time with the same guy or whatever. But that's a new thing too. Back when Michael Jordan was playing, nobody ever really hated the Bulls.
There was Colby. I thought wasn't there edge rusher from Miami in the first round this year?
Gregory Rousseau.
Greg Rousseau. That's it.
Greg Rousseau and Jalen Phillips both went in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them didn't play last year, right? I forget which one.
Gregor Russo.
I think Russo opted out.
And that's why Russo went so late in the first round.
Yeah.
Probably.
What about quarterbacks in the NFL draft this year? I don't see like a number one guy for sure.
Quarterbacks?
This ain't a good quarterback class.
Yeah.
The Broncos, it's like Desmond Ritter,
actually,
Matt Corral, and the Liberty kid.
I was just fixing to say, I think if anyone's probably your quarterback one guy, I think it's between Ritter and Corral.
I mean, you also have to wait and see who's going to go because literally there's not a quarterback out there that doesn't still have eligibility.
Right.
Correct.
But there's also the Senior Bowl.
Like, we didn't know until he announced, we didn't even know if Trevor Lawrence was really going to go. We just all assumed, would he come back and whatever. But what's up, Maddie? Didn't like Brady at Michigan, hated him at Boston, has not changed beyond Tampa. Screw you. I'm fixing to freaking.
Well, of course he didn't like Brady. Of course he didn't like Brady at Michigan because Brady come out there and absolutely just rubbed his opinion.
That's that's the question right there because this quarterback class isn't all that great. Outside of Corral, I'd give Desmond Ritter maybe a late first-round grade if someone wanted to pick him up or trade back for him. But outside of that, there's really not a first-round guy outside of Corral.
If Trey Lance could go in the first round, I mean, there's no reason that Cincy quarterback
can. That's true. And it seemed like every quarterback, so Trevor Lawrence, best quarterback last year. Then Zach Wilson was clearly the second best quarterback in the draft. And then, and so on. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that he was the second best quarterback in the draft, hands down. But that's just my opinion.
Who's that?
That's what they made it out to be.
It cut out. Who are y'all talking about?
Zach Wilson.
But Matt Corral, he's not a senior this year?
Yeah, but everybody's got that extra year of eligibility.
Oh.
From last year.
This is actually Matt Corral's senior year, so he's still got another year if he just absolutely wants to.
I'll say this: if Matt Corral decides to stay, then it might be smart for Kenny Pickett to try to declare then.
Yeah, I watched that game Saturday. I liked his arm on the 15-yard outs. I mean, he's got a bullet. That's where you make your money in the NFL.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I got to get off here, take care of some stuff around the house. It was good talking with you guys.
All right, man.
Yeah, see ya.
Well, just end the stream. Now we're sitting here talking.
Yeah, I'll end it on YouTube. Y'all do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Love you guys, and we'll see you later on. Roll Tide. Don't forget, too, I'm doing the Unprofessional Sports Show tonight, 8 o'clock. Love y'all.